Hello there. In this episode I'm going to compare Windows and Linux and show how easy Linux is compared to Windows. So stay with me. Linux is much easier to install than Windows, and in the next episode I'm going to show how to install Linux Mint. Linux is in daily speak complete system. Not only the kernel that drives the computer, it's also what you see and the applications you use. In a technical way, the Linux is the kernel that drives the computer, and what we in daily use call Linux, it's a Linux distribution, and it's plenty of them, hundreds or maybe thousands to choose between. But I use Linux Mint because it's very nice user interface. When I install it, I get almost all the components that I need, all the applications I need in the daily use. Some apps I need to install separately. But now I'm going to show you how Linux Mint looks like. This is the user interface. When you have logged in to Linux Mint, this is what you meet. And down in the corner we have the menu, start menu, as in Windows 10. Next you have what you in Windows call Explorer. It's the file manager. And this is the web browser, Firefox, but there are plenty of web browsers in Linux Mint to choose between. And last, this is the terminal, where you can print commands to do stuff. But the regular user doesn't need that. I use it a lot because it's a big help to do some tasks. In this computer I have installed OpenArena and Steam. OpenArena is like Quake. Internet, we have the Firefox web browser and some FTP client I have installed, and Steam. We have Thunderbird Mail, transmission for torrent files, and some other stuff. In Office, we have the calendar, LibreOffice. It's I'm using it to read Microsoft Office files. I have Calc that it's equal to Excel. LibreOffice Draw when you want to draw pictures and so on. LibreOffice Writer it is like Word in Windows. And we have some players for sound and video. Kdenlive, I use it to edit these movies I put on YouTube. We have some administration tools, a lot of them. For example, users and groups. I feel that Linux Mint is much easier to use. We have a clean start menu. If you want to lock the screen, log out or quit or shut down the computer. When you want to log out from a Windows 11 computer, that is a complicated task if you haven't done it. When you use Microsoft Windows, you often get questions about privacy and so on. You almost never get it by Linux Mint or Linux, any Linux distribution. I got rid of all Windows computers at home for a few months ago because Windows wanted me to log in on the online services so they can see all my files that I save on the computer. So I felt that I lost control over my files. What happens if a hacker goes into Microsoft's servers and see all my files, all my photos and so on, and share it on the internet? Windows 11 demands a newer computer for it to install. It is workarounds, but you need good hardware. Linux Mint or many other Linux distributions, you can install it on a decade-old computer and it runs like a new computer. If you compare how much memory it needs and hard drive space and so on, Windows needs a lot more of that. I can show some applications that I use in Linux Mint, and you will feel that it's the same that you use in Windows 2 in a lot of ways, at least. Firefox, it looks like it is in Windows, and the search field and so on. If you want to write some letter, LibreOffice Writer. I haven't used it in this computer yet. I have some other computers I use it in. You can install LibreOffice in Windows too, and it looks the same. If you want to do some math, you have LibreOffice Calc. If you use Excel, this will not be a problem for you. let's say you use the computer to do more complicated tasks. For example, CAD files. And if you want to install some software for that, you go to Software Manager. Searching for CAD. You get a lot of applications. For example, KiCad, if you want to do some PCB. LeaderCAD, maybe something you want. It's a 2D CAD program. 3CAD, if you want to do some 3D CAD, and so on. If you like games, there are thousands of games. You have, for example, Open Arena. Looks like Quake 3D. Steam. It is possible to run many Windows games in Linux, but you need to do some settings in Steam for that to work. There are some Quake applications, but you need the files. You need the Quake server package to use Quake. You have board games, first persons games, strategy games, some emulators, a lot of them, simulations, you have Tuxkart, very fun game. There are two applications that I use a lot. It is GIMP and Inkscape. Now I installing GIMP, and you see it is very easy, and now I can launch it. If you use Photoshop, then this is you can use this instead of Photoshop. I use it a lot. Here you can do everything that you do in Photoshop. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. In next episode I'm going to show how to install Linux Mint. So see you then. Bye.